Alrighty, what's up guys, it's Rascal here, back at it again with another video. So today we're going to be talking about something I've been trying to talk to other players about, see what their thoughts are about it, and now I think I'm ready to try and convince you guys why you should switch to high sensitivity in Fortnite. Quick disclaimer about this video, you don't have to switch to high sensitivity if you don't feel like it. If you feel you work better on a lower sensitivity, stay there. I'm just trying to show you guys the pros and cons so that you might consider switching for specifically Fortnite. Now, in any other game besides Fortnite, you don't want to go high sense. Pretty much any other game, at least. Minecraft is an exception. You can usually go high sense in there, but for a shooter game specifically, you want to stay on a low sense. Reason why is you're shooting. You want to be accurate. Crosshair placement is key. It's not so much about making fast movements as it is making precise movements. Plus, you want to be able to hold your mouse steady, and with high sense, you can easily lose control of your crosshair. So I'm obviously not the person that you guys should be watching for how to use high sensitivity, though I did switch recently. We are going to be looking at Benjyfishy and MrSavageM. These are debatably the two best pros in the scene right now, and they both run on high sense. Also, before we get into this, we're going to discuss a term called EDPI. That is going to be your computer DPI times your in-game sensitivity. So, for example, Benjyfishy runs on 112 EDPI, while MrSavageM runs at 118 EDPI. So yeah, real easy calculation there. Just go ahead, try it out. Yeah. So what it's used for is basically just so you can compare your sensitivity to other players, so that you can see like, okay, is my sensitivity on a high sense or a low sense, while you're just trying to learn what it is and trying to get used to your new sensitivity. So yeah, without further ado, let's go and analyze some clips by Benjyfishy and MrSavageM that they both did in Arena Cash Cups. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start off with Benjyfishy. Benjyfishy is an insane player, and he does play on high sensitivity. As I mentioned earlier, him and MrSavageM are two of the debatably best players in the world right now, and they're both running on almost the same sensitivity, with MrSavageM being at 118 EDPI, with Benjyfishy only being on 112. Now, there's not too much difference there, it's just a little more preference type stuff, but it is something to take note of that they both are on extremely high sensitivity. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and analyze this first clip. So background on it, Benjyfishy had just landed, he got a green AR, grenades, and just picked up a green tag. He hears someone one floor above him, so he goes ahead, goes up the stairs to try and find him and get an elim. There's the background on it. Just so you don't have to watch the whole clip, let's go ahead and watch the rest of it. Alright, so here's the clip. He just grabbed the shotgun and he's head up the stairs now, since he does hear a player above him. There we go. So he ended up eliminating a player called CRR there, phenomenal player. But in this clip, you didn't probably notice everything that happened. So because of his high sensitivity, he was able to actually shoot the guy before he died himself. And with Benjyfishy being one headshot away from elimination, he could have taken that headshot damage, died, and threw an entire tournament match. But because he's playing on the high sensitivity, that didn't happen. He was able to control his flick over to his player's head, make some micro adjustments, and shoot him. In our next clip, we're going to be talking specifically about micro adjustments, but right now we're just focusing on flick specifically. So yeah, with high sense, I know I've noticed this myself. It's a lot easier to hit flick shots, like control them, you know? Like, it's kind of hard with low sense trying to flick your entire arm across your entire desk to get a good flick, instead of just moving your wrist over a couple inches to get the same sort of effect. It's just a lot less energy put into it, meaning it can be a lot more controlled. You can put a lot more focus into hitting the flick. Along with that does come learning how to play on such a high sensitivity, but after a few weeks, you guys should be back to where you were, if not even better than you were with low sensitivity. So we're gonna go ahead and look at another clip that's going to be focusing on specifically micro adjustments. Now, what a micro adjustment is let's say your crosshair is just a tiny bit off of a person, or you're about to hit a body shot instead of a headshot. A micro adjustment is basically doing that slight adjustment to get your crosshair in the optimal position before your shotgun shoots. With high sensitivity, you're able to do this a lot faster and a lot easier due to you not having to move your mouse as far, meaning you can have your shotgun shots pre-placed before your shotgun is even ready to shoot, when with low sensitivity, it's a lot harder to do that. So once again, this clip is by Benjyfishy in the exact same tournament actually. I believe it was the game after the one where you got this kill here, but let's go ahead, jump right into it. Alright, once again, a little bit of backstory. Benjyfishy just lasered a guy with his AR and is now trying to secure the elim. He knows his opponent doesn't have any shields, as he did not let him heal any due to pressuring him so heavily, and now he's trying to just get 100 damage off so he can kill his opponent. So let's go ahead and start this up. Be sure to pay attention, see if you see the micro adjustment that he made. Alright, so what happened there, his opponent edited out of his box, goes up, ramps up, Benjyfishy sees that, edits the cone above him, and then hits a headshot. Doesn't look like much right there. It was a lot going on, but it still doesn't look like near as much as it was. So we're gonna go ahead, watch this back in slow motion. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and watch it at 1/4 speed, so that's 0.25 speed, and see if you guys can actually see that micro adjustment now. Okay, so his opponent edits out right here, goes ahead, starts to ramp up. Benjyfishy sees that, edits the cone. His crosshair right there is placed on his body. I don't know if you guys saw that there. So right here, he makes the edit. His crosshair is on his body, specifically his leg. What he needs to do is get that up to his head. So as you can see, Benjyfishy, milliseconds before he takes the shot, is able to control his shot to where it goes straight up into a headshot. That is a micro adjustment, and it's a much easier to control on a high sensitivity. And I know what you're thinking, okay, this might have not been so important, he could have still hit the body shot to kill him. But his opponent still had about 100 health, so he would have to rely on hitting every single pellet on the shotgun to eliminate his opponent there, because he did have a purple pump. And his opponent was almost ready to shoot his either green or blue pump. I couldn't tell from the clip because I didn't watch the other person's perspective, which would not have killed Benjyfishy, but if he had done more than 50 damage, Benjyfishy would have either had to use shields, which he did not have, a big pot or anything, or he would just have to go with less health for going into the late game, which is not good. He is in mid game right now, and in any fight really, you want to try and keep your shields and health as high as possible, but in the mid game, it's really just about trying to survive with as much health as you can going into late game. So yeah, I hope you guys can kind of see where I'm going here, like how your shotgun aim specifically is better with high sense. In our next clip, we're going to be looking at MrSavageM now. We're going to show a couple clips of him, and one of which is actually going to show how much it can hurt your AR aim. Now, I know Mr. Savage isn't known for his AR aim, but it's just kind of showing you how kind of uncontrolled his assault rifle aim is because he uses such a high sensitivity. So that's your main disadvantage with using high sensitivity, is you cannot hit AR shots very easily, but with the box fight meta this season, it is so important to be able to do shotgun micro adjustments because there's no more traps. You can no longer rely on traps to get your box fight elims, so you have to rely on actually shooting and editing, which high sense allows you to do much faster. Not only placing your crosshair, but your edits can be twice as fast very easily. So yeah, before we go any further, actually, I just thought of this. When was the last time you relied purely on your AR to kill someone? And have you noticed that that number of times that you've had to do that has decreased lately? That's once again because of the box fight meta. People don't care about AR aim as much, and it makes sense because so many people are focused on box fighting because that's where the meta's gone. So really, we should be adjusting towards that box fight meta, and by raising your sensitivity, you're doing that. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and look at some clips by MrSavageM. Once again, his EDPI is 118, so if you guys want to try that out sometime, feel free. So what I suggest doing when switching to high sense is choose a pro's high sense, decide if you want it higher or lower, just do a little bit of adjusting from there and then get used to it. I would try it for about a week or so to see how your improvement goes before canceling it if you don't feel it's right for you, but be sure to not go just straight into a game. Practice in creative. I have some tutorials on how to practice your shotgun aim, so you can check those out in the description. And let's go ahead, look at MrSavageM. Okay, so MrSavageM is a great example of a high sensitivity player because he takes every single advantage high sensitivity gives you and just abuses it. He relies purely on his edits, flicks, all that to get his elims. He doesn't rely on his AR aim. Have you ever seen him try to AR someone from 300 meters away? No, you see him go, chase them down, and fight them. And that's all the meta is now, so we're gonna go ahead and look at this clip. It's a lot longer than the previous ones. It's about 20 seconds or so, but it does show you how powerful that sensitivity can be. So you can see how fast his edits are in this clip. And how fast he's able to shoot that guy right there, like, wow. So once again, we're gonna go ahead and watch that last little part there in slow motion so you can see the micro adjustments that he did make. So just so that it doesn't feel like a one sort of really situational thing to you. You can see he only seems to hit headshots here, and he goes ahead, hits that shot right there somehow. That was a good shot that he hit because of right hand peek. Resets the wall right before his opponent shoots, builds another, edits it back, tries to go for a shot, isn't able to though, goes ahead, place a wall so his opponent can't get right hand peek, edits out, and look at that micro adjustment there. His flick almost went sideways and then curved upwards with the micro adjustment. So he was Aiming for a body shot. It's natural for the human to want to aim for the body shot because it is the biggest target. But then his Fortnite skills take over and is like, okay, headshot's gonna do more. So his crosshair last second curved up because of the micro adjustment. Now to do that sort of shot that he just did, you have had to move your mouse a solid 5 or 6 inches to make that. But with the high sensitivity, he only had to move it maybe an inch or two. Now once again, MrSavageM is an incredible player, so he is able to control that sensitivity because he's practiced with it for so long, and he's actually lowered from his original sensitivity that he used to play on. But still, you guys have the same potential. Okay, so no hate to MrSavageM here, but this kind of shows you your cons, because I want to show you the pros and cons to both low and high sensitivity. So here is how your aim will be affected. I'm sure this isn't consistently happening to MrSavageM, but he's not known for his AR aim, so he does use an extremely high sensitivity is why. But you can go ahead and watch this clip right here to see what I mean. Now right there in that clip, he unloaded an entire magazine, 30 bullets on that guy, and only hit 1 shot. Now, MrSavageM is a phenomenal player, but with that high sensitivity, he's just not able to control his crosshair that precise for such long distances. Someone like Tfue or Zexero, who uses a low sensitivity, would have been able to completely annihilate that guy because they rely on their AR aim. Low sensitivity is so you can track people from far away. High sensitivity is for up close. So for box fight meta, you want to focus on that up close sensitivity. But yeah, once again, don't feel like you should be pressured to switch to high sensitivity. I, for one, definitely suggest trying it. But for UPC players, please consider it. It has helped me tremendously. And remember, you guys have the same amount of potential that all these guys do. Alright, so guys, it's time for a quick little mental lesson here. Every single reason that you say you can't go pro is just a barrier that you're putting in front of yourselves. You guys have the same exact potential as all of these pros do. Maybe it's not Fortnite, but you guys have that potential somewhere. You can be the pros one day if you put your mind to it. These barriers can be stuff like, oh, I'm too old to go pro. Okay, I don't play enough. Those are just barriers that you're putting in front of yourself. All those things that you say, if you say, I can't do this because of this, you won't be able to do it. That's just how it goes. You need to say, I can do this even though I have to do this. You have to put yourself in that can-do attitude. You can't say, oh, I'll never go pro because I'm 20 and the pros are usually around 16 to 18. Like, you're just putting a barrier in front of yourself, making it harder for you to get to your end goal. You need to say, I'm going to go pro. And if you can't make it there, that's fine. It's a lesson. But you're never going to get there with a terrible mindset saying, oh, I can't do this. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe on the video. And I'll see you guys next time.